men's SEC golf starts tomorrow or Wednesday. I can't remember. So a lot to talk about. Gators pick up a bunch of players in the transfer portal and basketball that will definitely help the team. You got to trust Todd Golden in their process. And we got golf teeing off right now, finishing the RBC Heritage where Scotty Scheffler is going to win again. Good morning, JC. You're on the Titan
Okay.
More Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp. Some
Hey,
things never change.
uh, what is that?
Scotty Scheffler, best player
Yeah.
in the world.
Well, it's incredible. Before his double bogey on Thursday, he had gone somewhere in the neighborhood of like 36 rounds. Now, think about this: 36 rounds of golf without a bogey, par or better, which means he played the entire Masters without a bogey. He played the entire TPC without a bogey. He played the entire Shell Houston Open without a bogey, and he played the entire Bay Hill Invitational without a bogey. Not even a bogey. And he made a double at Harbor Town this weekend on Thursday in the first round, and now he's 5 strokes clear and has 3 holes to play to finish it out and win again. He'll take 2 weeks off and then go to the Wells Fargo in 3 weeks and then get ready for the PGA in Kentucky. Of course, he's got a child on the way, so we don't know when that's going to happen.
Well, here's what's
golf
funny.
Is incredible.
Here's what's funny is last week it was all if she goes in labor,
yeah,
he's hauling ass. Nobody said a word about that this week.
No, yeah, and so maybe that baby just isn't ready. I'll tell you, 1985, so that's 39 years ago, was the last time we had a Masters winner, QB, go the next week and win a tournament. And in this case, of course, it's in Hilton Head, South Carolina. And the last player to do it in 1985 was the one and only Bernhard Langer. So just throw that out there for you. Yeah, Bernhard Langer. Also, I noticed on the Gator app, you've got 27 days, folks, 27 days to put in your away game ticket order. Okay, and that means Texas, that means Tennessee. So 27 days is all you got. 27 days. Of course, I'm sure you can always find tickets if you need them. But if you want to order them through the Gator thing. And how about that gymnastics team? I did want to mention that. They finished in 4th. LSU, who gets a lot of attention because of Olivia Dunn and whoever.
But she doesn't even participate. That's what's crazy.
Well, it is crazy, but she gives them all this press. Anyway, they win their first ever gymnastics national title, which makes them the 4th SEC school to win a national title, joining Florida, who has 3, Alabama, who has 6, and Georgia, who has 10 championships. 10. So there is LSU now on the board as a national title holder. And the Gators, they competed, and that's all you can do. And I think they represented Florida very well out in Fort Worth, Texas. They are a great program, and they are, as you would say, elite.
Yeah, well, they are elite, and they did it with half their team. I shouldn't say half their team. I'll ask Scott Carter about this, but a couple of their girls that normally participate are training for the Olympics and aren't even on the team this year. Dan says half the crowd was LSU. Yeah, Dan, I was there last year for the championship in Fort Worth, and LSU. I've said it multiple times, and I will continue. LSU has the best fan base in all of sports. I hate saying it, but it's a fact.
Oh, they go for everything. They go for everything.
Yeah. Congratulations to Billy Horschel. He wins the PGA event over in the Dominican. I'm not quite sure why Billy didn't play in the RB. I don't know if he was. Did he not finish in the top 125 last year?
I don't know that answer, but I do know that he needed this because he hasn't won since 22, and these guys get these 2-year exemptions on tour if they win a tournament, unless it's a major, and then they get a much longer exemption. But Billy got this win, and that's a good deal for him. It's his 8th. It's his 8th win in his career on the tour, but he hasn't won since 2022. So he was due to win, and he needed it, and he got it. So
yeah, and then next week they go to New Orleans for the Zurich Classic. That's that team event. It's going to be cool because Billy's paired up with Tyson Alexander, the son of Buddy Alexander, who's playing really well this year on tour. So that'll be kind of cool watching those two guys play.
Yes.
Christopher on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing, says Shane, 3 good pickups in the portal for basketball. Elijah Martin, Sam Alexis, and Ruben Shinyelu. I don't know how you pronounce his name, from Washington State. Some big pickups, should be contributors. Oh, absolutely, they will. I was hoping they were going to get the kid from Furman, but I think he ended up. I don't know where he ended up going. He's a really good player.
I like
Uh,
that kid from Washington State. That guy can play. That's a good pickup for him.
yeah, Dan says gymnastics was better next year with Sky Blakely, DeCello, when they joined the team after the Olympics. I mean, we had people that are participating for the United States of America. They
There you
weren't
go.
worried about the national title. Um, Michael also says on Facebook, excuse me, YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing. Shane, you have to talk about Nelly Court on the LPGA Tour. Yesterday, she
Oh,
wins her fifth consecutive tournament, tying
yeah.
Nancy Lopez and Annika Sorenstam. Pretty
Unreal.
rare. Dude, her golf swing
Oh,
might be the best golf swing ever. I think she's 26 years old, and she's unbelievable, man.
she's
Unbelievable. You know,
she comes
usually
from a
it's the
yeah.
the Korean girls that have been dominating the
I
LPGA
love
tour, but
seeing
this young girl,
yeah.
uh, I don't know where she's from. I think she's from
Well,
California. I'm
dude,
not sure, but she is so freaking good.
she comes from an extremely athletic family. The first point I'd make is that her sister is Jessica Korda, who played on the LPGA tour, but her dad was a guy named Peter Korda, who was a professional tennis player. Okay, he traveled the world and played professional tennis in the day. So she's got the goods. And little Nelly has won 5 in a row and got very sick during COVID, almost to the extent where she almost had to have surgery. And it would have been really bad, I think. But little Nelly comes out there and just beats you up on the golf course. And she's right now the hottest thing going on the LPGA tour. So
Yeah.
that's also, but she does. She
Uh,
comes from that pedigree, man. She's got all the athletic genes, if you will.
Tony says the 15-year-old Miles Russell from over in Jack's Beach. He came. He's 15 years old. JC. He came in like six. It went away, but I think it was 16th or 17th in the
Oh,
Corn Ferry tournament this weekend
okay.
at 15 years old. He's a homeschool kid over there.
Oh.
I was playing with JC Deacon this weekend, and he mentioned how good that kid was. He's a little lefty. He can't be more than 140 pounds either.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
So that was
uh,
down in Fort Myers, I think, this weekend, or somewhere in South Florida.
Oh, Nellie's from Bradenton. Okay, I couldn't. I wasn't sure if it was Florida or California, but um, she's damn good. All right, we got some text here on the Titan MR text line. This is from 941. It's kind of a long text. He says that considering right now, looks like we may be a projected 3 or 4 seed in Tallahassee, talking about baseball. He says, here's a scenario. 1 game left. We have to win 1 more game to assure an SEC tournament appearance or an NCAA tourney bid. And it's not Cag's turn to pitch, but he's got his needed rest as a pitcher. Do you go with Cags to win 1 game? Absolutely, you do. Same for any of those. I think if it's a 1 game deal, you have to win it to continue your season. Hell, I don't. If he's not, well, I guess you don't want to ruin his arm, but I pitch him regardless. Uh, Gators, as I said, win 1 out of 3, which is about what I was hoping for at Vanderbilt. They play Stetson tomorrow, I believe, here, and then they head to Fayetteville, and they got the Hogs, which will not be easy. Softball has Florida State Wednesday night, and then they head to Georgia. So they keep rolling right along. Throw a pitcher out there yesterday or this weekend in relief, a transfer from Virginia. She's only here because she's going to PT grad school. But Tim threw in there. She got the job done,
There you
and
go.
they are 37. Think about 37-10
Mm-hmm.
in 3rd place in the hardest conference in all of softball. They are elite. I don't care what anybody says. They are elite. That's what we always talk about on here, isn't it? Elite.
It does seem to be.
Yeah. All
I
right.
will tell you.
Another text on real quick from Josh in Mississippi. Says, what do you think of our recent men's basketball guard transfers? FAU transfer Elijah Martin. How can this improve with him and the others that they brought in your opinion? Like I said, I don't know these guys very well, but I'm not going to doubt Todd Gold and his staff and their evaluation process because the guys they brought in last year are pretty damn good.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, yeah, you gotta keep fortifying that roster though, because of how quickly people can jump ship. So
JC, C. Irby on YouTube has a problem with you. He says, I'm trying to remember the last time you wore a Gator hat on the show, and I can't. Mix in some orange and blue once in a while.
All right. Okay. Well, I mean, I get it. Give me a reason to, and I'll do it. I went to school there. I mean, I know. I want to see something. I'm not predicting anymore. I'm out of the prediction business with Florida. I thought they were better in baseball than they are. I don't think this weekend's going to go well. I just don't. But I'll do it for you, C. Irby. You got it, brother. I'll get back on the bandwagon. Don't you worry. And I think football is the thing I think about the most when I think about Florida. And I just keep looking at that schedule and those first 6 games.
But JC, you got to quit looking at the schedule. I mean,
I do. I look at it.
It's just an opponent.
It is, but it's important to get off to a good start. We all know that, and
I think they will win the first 5 games, and then who knows what will happen.
Okay,
they will be favored. They will be favored in the first 5 games. You want to wager on that? You want to wager lunch on that?
I don't know because I don't know how the first 2 are going to go or first 3.
JC, that doesn't matter. Again, I try to tell you.
Well, if they're 1 and 2,
they will not be favored. Tennessee came in here last year.
And got killed.
As like number 8 in America, and we were like a 6-point favorite over them.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, QB, they have to win those games to be favored at Tennessee.
We're not going to Tennessee. They're not one of the top first 5 games.
They're not.
I'm going to give you the first 5 games again. Okay. Miami at home.
Yeah.
UCF at home. Texas A&M at home. Sanford at home. Mississippi State on the road. They will be favored in all 5 of those games.
Okay. So they're playing the first 4 games at home again?
Well, yeah. I just know the first 5 games. I just gave you the opponents. 4 of the first 5 are at home.
Okay.
And they will be favored in all 5 of those. I will buy you lunch if they are.
I believe you. I thought that the Texas A&M game's the 3rd game. I know that. And they will play Notre Dame in their opener. We'll see how that goes for them. But no, Irby, I got you, brother. I wanted to shout out to a guy in Arizona, a watcher and listener of our show whose father lives in Ocala. His name is Wes. Wes gave me a shout out over the weekend. They were coming here to go play Juliet Falls, which is a fantastic golf course in Marion County. And I wasn't able to join them, but I want to thank Wes and his dad for watching us. They watch us religiously. They love it. And he watches all the way from Arizona. I'm sure it's on delay, and he watches our recording.
No, it's live. It's live, JC.
Well, we're live, but I'm sure old Wes probably watches it on record, unless he's up at 5 a.m. But yeah, so that's what we do. And thank you for watching, Wes. And maybe next time you come this way and tell your dad. And tonight I'm heading down to Ocala. Speaking of Ocala, I'm going to head down to the Black Sheep Restaurant around 4:30, and I'm going to go to the benefit at that restaurant for John Brantley and his son Avery. And, of course, Coach Brantley, who you had on the show Friday or Thursday or sometime last week. I watched it, and it just moved me. And so I love the Brantleys. I've known them for a very long time, and I'm heading down today to support Avery and those in that cause at the Black Sheep. I'll be down there for about an hour or so this afternoon, so I'm looking forward to going down to Ocala. I love Ocala.
Yeah. Somebody on the Take No More text line asked what John was doing, and he is now in medical device sales is what he does.
Yeah, I think he's been doing that since I can remember. He's been
since he was done playing ball.
Right, correct. So that's right. So we're going to go see Erica and John Sr. and his wife, and look forward to seeing that. That's a dynasty family down there in Marion County. They're big time, and I can't wait to see them again because they moved from here. Johnny used to play golf with me right here, but they had to move to Ocala for obvious reasons, and so there they are. And so we want to go down there and help out and just show face and be supportive. So I'm going to do that today at the Black Sheep in beautiful downtown Ocala. So looking forward to that.
Silverback Concrete builds firm foundation for generations. You stand on it, we stand by it. We'll have Scott Carter. He was in Fort Worth. We'll talk a little gymnastics. We'll talk baseball, softball, a little bit of everything.
NBA playoffs. All 8 of the home teams in the NBA playoffs, the first game, won their games. 7 of those 8 covered the line, the spread. Last night, Oklahoma City won by 2 points. So they did not cover against New Orleans, but they won. And so you had 8 home winners, and tonight we're going to get back at it. with another 4 games. And then the hockey, same thing basically happened. All the home teams won, with Vancouver beating Nashville in the late game last night. The Florida Panthers beating the Tampa Bay Lightning 3-2 in a very physical game, as I thought it would be, down in Fort Lauderdale. They'll play again tomorrow night. And, if you follow that, it's good stuff to watch. It's very intense. So that's all happening right now.
We got a text on the Titan Mart text line from Bobby.
Oh, and the Stars tonight. Stars, Dallas, Stars, Dallas, Stars. And the Boston Bruins. Those are my 2 tonight. Get on those. Bruins, Toronto Stars, and the Vegas Golden Knights, your defending Cup champions. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Bobby says, in y'all's opinions, do y'all think Sully is the baseball coach here next year?
Well, I do. I don't know why he wouldn't.
I mean, where would he go? I mean,
I don't know why.
Here's what's crazy is
I don't know why it wouldn't be QB.
they played. I'm gonna say it one more time. They played for the damn national championship last year. Okay, if you think Gator baseball is struggling in this year, your national champs from last year have only won like 4 games in the conference.
Yeah, it's different.
Okay, so I just, you're not going to be at a high level every year. Do you want to be there? Absolutely, but it has not worked out.
Well, I mean, and this Vandy team that they just got done playing, nothing there resembles the 2019 team with Al Leiter and that other guy. Okay, so there's not one player on that Vandy team that we just watched this weekend that reminds you of that 2019 national title team. Not one. I'm sorry, there just isn't. So it just happens, It's called turnover. That's what it's called, and it's hard. And listen, he got you to the championship round last year, so it's not over the season this year. But they're a 500 team. That's basically what I'm going to say about it.
Yeah, Christopher says on Facebook Live, YouTube brought to you by Quad Clump, Peyton Kirkland, big offensive lineman transferring from Texas to Colorado, hurts. Could have used him. Thought Florida had a shot, him being from Orlando. Well, and he says Peyton Joe's a decommit. Look, I if you like recruiting, that's great. But you got to. I'm just going to tell y'all, it'll make your life much easier if you just don't follow it, because Peyton Kirkland may turn out to be a tremendous lineman for Colorado, but I think he would have had to sit out a year coming here anyway because he was transferring within the conference, and we don't know if he can block anybody. I would not worry about these kids. No. And if a kid is verbally committed or decommits right now, I wouldn't put any stock in it because things can change. Money can change. I saw a stat the other day.
Yeah.
Not a stat, but a quote. Gosh, who was it from? I can't remember now. And it was regarding NIL, obviously. And he said, this was a coach. And maybe, oh, no. I don't know. Anyway, it was basically said NIL is not name, image, and likeness. It is how much money can I pay a player to play for me, and will he come? That's all it is. And I forgot which coach it was. I wish I screenshot it. But anyway, don't worry about the recruiting people. Don't worry about it.
Speaking of that, one of the kids getting a lot of NIL, or however much you can pay me, Arch Manning, had a spring game.
Archie or Arch?
Arch had a spring game. 355 yards, 3 touchdowns. So they wanted to see what he could do.
Well, I will say this.
Spring game. Now that's nobody's touching.
I saw one clip, JC.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna give you two thoughts on that. Okay. The DB that was covering the wide receiver looked like you, backpedaling. And literally when he threw a post route, there was not a person within 20 yards of this kid.
I know.
So I didn't watch the game. Arch he's talented. He's very talented.
Yeah, I mean, he's playing for Stark in Texas. I mean, you don't go there if you don't have something. But we've been hearing about this kid and hearing about this kid, and nothing's happened. Now, of course, you can say nothing really happened in the spring game because of what you just described and the fact that nobody's touching him. Things change when you get hit, and we'll see. I don't know. I mean, I'm just saying this because Florida plays at Austin this year. They go to Texas. It'll be a place where Gator fans have never been. And so it's a chance to go watch something different and go watch something new. And like I said, you got 27 days to buy your tickets through the Gator portal. Otherwise, you got to go on the secondary market. Good luck. And you go watch them in Austin.
Yeah. Christopher says, I try not to follow this transfer situation in NIL, but that's where we're at now with college football. It's ruined college football, in my opinion. It has. and it's not just college football; it's every sport. You know, I
Well,
know all the Gator fans
think,
are excited about our transfer portal in basketball, and they should be.
I
Those
just
guys are going to make our team better. I mean, you look at what happened last year.
I just think saying the word ruin is a strong word. I don't think it's ruined anything. It's changed it, but nothing's ruined.
Well, that's what they said.
They got more people watching this stuff now than they've ever had in history.
I'm not, JC, watching it has nothing to do with how we feel about it.
Well, if you didn't like it, you probably wouldn't watch it.
No, because I watch every sport. I like sports.
Well,
but do I have to like it? No.
Yeah. Well, listen. I don't.
When people are talking about Jaden Rashada on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mello. Look,
why? Why are they talking about
Jay? He's in the transfer portal. I don't care where he goes. I don't care.
Right.
Because we have our quarterback of the future. Why do y'all give a damn about Jaden Rashada?
Yeah, he threw 4 passes last year for Arizona.
I've watched him. I don't think he's very good.
Well, there you go. Saved yourself
but that doesn't mean
a lot of money. How about that? You saved a lot of money, and you don't have to deal with somebody who's overhyped. How about that? Be happy that you didn't get him.
All right, this day in sports brought to you by Campus USA Credit Union. Put some star power to work in your financial life with Campus USA Credit Union. 2010 NFL Draft, Oklahoma quarterback Sam Bradford, first pick by the St. Louis Rams. And the draft is Thursday night. We'll have Steve Palazzolo from Pro Football Focus on tomorrow talking draft. And then Mike Morgan will be on Wednesday after JC talking draft as well.
I got to say this draft. So you got over 4.5 QBs in the first round QB.
Do I?
Do you think it'll be over or under 4.5?
Hang on. Daniels, May. I say under.
Under, okay.
I don't think, I mean, first round quarterbacks, in my opinion, you got Drake May, Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams. Those are the only first round quarterbacks, right?
Yeah.
I do not think JJ McCarthy is a first rounder. I do not think Bo Nix is a first rounder. I don't think Michael Penix is a first rounder.
We'll see. That's why I was saying it's 4.5. That's the number.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, they're probably one of those guys is probably going to get drafted in the first round, but I don't think they'll be.
You don't think there'll be 5? You don't think there will be 5? That's what you're saying.
No, I don't. But I mean, I don't follow the draft, and I don't care about the draft.
Well, it's highly watched, dude. A lot of folks watch the draft. A lot of people.
Yeah, so they do. They do. For sure. All right, let's see here real quick. Text on the Titan MR text line. Chris from Cottondale says maybe not ruined, but hurting college sports pretty bad. JC's okay with that wording. You okay with that wording? Hurting college sports pretty bad?
Well, again, college sports is creating more revenue and more viewership than ever before. I'll just leave it at that. I'm just telling you.
Tony says the UCLA kid decided to sign a free agent contract instead of coming here. I'm not sure which UCLA kid that was. I think maybe that was baseball. I think you're talking about baseball.
I mean, we got a 12-team playoff coming this year. Am I going to be thinking about some kid's bank account? No, I am not. And so
no. Like I said, that we're talking apples and oranges. I think everybody loves the sport of college football.
Okay.
People don't like what's going on in college football.
Unless you're the guys down there involved in it, getting the money. And they're the ones who were disposed of before when they didn't get a damn thing. So, I mean.
They didn't deserve it, in my opinion.
Oh, come on. They were exploited.
They deserve to be paid something.
Johnny Football wasn't exploited. Give me a break, dude.
But hang on a second, JC. Hang on just a second. Okay. Do you think, you answer this honestly, do you think that athletes coming out of high school that you have never put your eyes on should be making over $1 million?
Oh, I don't think that. I don't think that at all.
Okay.
But I also listen, I agree. The high school thing is going way too over the top. But the problem is that it's not going to change because they'll lose in court. So the folks who want to stop it will lose in court. I'm
talking about the kids coming to college out of high school.
I know.
Until you actually participate and do something and produce, you shouldn't be making any money. That's my point.
That I will agree with. Yes.
Now, once you're on campus and you actually do something, okay, we can talk. But There are so many people getting paid so much money that ain't worth a damn.
Yeah, no, I mean it's absurd. But again, you're not writing the check, and I'm not writing.
No,
the
I'm
check.
not. No, I'm not.
Some
I'm not.
idiots out there writing the check, QB. It's just the
No,
way
I
world
hear that.
works. I
That's
mean,
very true. It's not.
we just sent 80, I don't know, $95 billion overseas this weekend. That happened. Hey, you're writing that check, so am I. I'm a little bit more upset about that than I would be giving some kid, 20 grand. I just,
Well, it ain't 20 grand. That's if we gave him 20 grand, that's fine. I mean, the money being thrown around is crazy. Live a healthier lifestyle with our bold, flavorful smoothies and our amazing food. Tropical smoothie. When you eat better, you feel better. JC, do you feel better?
Yeah, I feel great. I enjoy this coconut drink I'm drinking. But yes, tropical smoothie, outstanding brand. It's a brand. It's a great brand. It's been around for a long time. We love it.
Text on the Titan Mark text line from Roberto. Roberto says, "Who do y'all have winning the NBA Finals?"
Like it, Roberto. Well, I tell you, Denver's going to be a hard out in the West, and
it's probably going to be the Celtics versus Denver, don't you think?
I think it is, and I think in the conference you're looking at, I like the Milwaukee Bucks, especially when they get healthy, and I like the Celtics. And I think in the West you've got this Denver team with the Joker, and then the other team in the West you could, I don't know, give it to. Take a look at that Minnesota team. Anthony Edwards is.
Did you know that the Oklahoma City Thunder were the 1 seed? I did not even know that till last night.
Youngest 1 seed ever. I thought it was funny watching Oklahoma City play. There in Oklahoma. But Minnesota with that Anthony Edwards, keep your eye on that dude, man. That team is not bad.
All right, let me get to a couple of these. Tim says Florida Victorious is not supported by. That's not true, Tim. We have to pay people to play. Do I like it? Absolutely not. I don't think you'll find one former player that likes this stuff, but it has to be done. There's a difference. Okay. 31 Ember on YouTube says, Shane, should athletes coming out of college make millions in the NFL? They haven't produced it. Yes, because you've seen what they can do.
Yeah, I mean,
if you get drafted to the National Football League, where the best players in the world play football, somebody thinks that they can pay you, and that's going to be your job. Yeah. But just because there's a difference, because I can go watch a kid play. Or the average person can go watch a kid play 1A football and then watch a kid play 7A football. And that 1A football player is dominating because the talent down that it's totally different. You don't know how that's going to translate to college. I may not be explaining this well, but my whole point of it is if you have put tape on at the collegiate level, no matter what level it is, they go to the combines. They do the research they do on these players. Do some of them bust? Absolutely. But they have already done what they're doing, and this is their job.
Yeah.
You got to remember, here's what's funny to me. As I stated multiple times, has any athlete in today's world said anything about the academics, or has anybody been suspended for academics in the last 3 or 4 years from any school that I can think of?
That I can think of.
No. Because it doesn't matter.
Right. I get it. But
and then we worry about taking these trips across the country. Oh, they're going to miss class. No. First of all, they're doing it all on their computer, but none of it matters anymore. It really doesn't.
Yeah. Well, and that's it is somewhat weird that you have California and Stanford in the ACC coming up here soon. That just doesn't seem to work for me. But hey, listen, I got in an argument with a Florida State Seminole fan this weekend at the golf course about, I asked him, I said, so who's your quarterback this year? And he flew off the handle. He was so upset. I said, dude, all I did was ask you who your damn quarterback was. And I knew the answer. It's going to be that DJ guy who has failed he didn't fail at Oregon State, but
because all he did was hand off.
Let's be honest, he wasn't that great. But now you're going to tell me Mike Norvell's going to turn him into a first-round draft pick. Okay. So more importantly, they're still pissed about the ACC thing and the lawsuits and all this crap. And I'm like, you guys don't have a case. They own your media rights. What are we fighting over? And they think they're going to settle something. This ACC doesn't have to settle for anything. They own your rights. So anyway, he thinks that they're going to leave the ACC. I said, okay, so where are you going to go? Where are you going to go? The Big Ten.
Well,
You don't
Real
know
quick,
that.
we got a text on from Frank on the
That's
Titan
just
Lamar text line. The
we're
attendances at
crazy.
spring games is the big three in Florida. The semis had 18,000 at their game. Miami had 1,000.
Well,
Florida
Miami
had 48,000. I mean, we're the flagship university. There's no question about that. We just got to win
look,
football games.
it's the biggest university, I'll tell you that. But
Yeah.
you got to win the football games. But that first game means a lot. It will mean a lot, and so we'll see how we'll talk about it when we get there.
Yeah, we're going to take a break here.
Talk about it.
31 Ember says, you see what high school players can do in high school. There's a difference, dude. I'm telling you. There's a whole industry around. I understand that. The recruiting rankings ain't always right. As I'm saying, can you see what a guy can do? Can you project? Yes. But you can talk to 1,000 people, and I promise you 900 of those 1,000 people will tell you that the NFL is totally different than college people evaluating people. I'm not explaining myself well. We can argue about this. That's your opinion.
I don't know what
I personally, even if I was coming out today, I think it's ridiculous because nobody knows how anybody's going to turn out.
Well,
but in the NFL, you've already proven yourself at the collegiate level.
Yeah, the NFL is a professional league, and you have to play 3 years. You have to play 3 years in college to get there, and it's professional football. So I don't quite get the argument or the parallel, to be honest with you. But I think I know what he's saying. But I don't. I'm with you here. I don't see the parallel. I don't.
Yeah, there's none in my opinion. All right, we're going to take a timeout. Get to Scott Carter.
Okay.
Appreciate your time, JC. Good luck to Mike Badano and the Stars tonight.
Stars tonight, baby. Bruins tonight. 2 teams.
All right, that's JC. Join us on the Titan More Hotline. Take a quick timeout. When we come back, we'll be joined by Scott Carter from FloridaGators.com. We want to take this moment to thank our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Our premium sponsors are Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Meldon Law, the only official injury and accident law attorneys of the Florida Gators. Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte. QC Kinetics, live pain-free with QC Kinetics. Campus USA, put some star power to work in your financial life with Campus USA Credit Union.
Comfort Temp, comfort is our business, peace of mind is our promise.
Dave & Buster's Eat, Drink, Play, Watch. Radware, your local provider of promotional products, uniforms, and apparel. Our gridiron sponsors are Auto ER, UF Bookstores, Silverback Concrete, Ruse Ogre State Farm Insurance, Radware, F45, Quality Plumbing. Our touchdown sponsors are Adams Ribs, Gator Dominoes, Celebrate Primary Care, Gator Bait Media, Okido America, Style Cuts, Ironwood Golf Course, Big Mills Cheesesteak, McDonald's of Gainesville, 84 Lumber, Dowling Signs, Baker Sporting Goods. If you're interested in promoting your business on the show, call Freddie at 352-284-3733. If you like what we're doing here, make sure to follow us and support the businesses that support us.
Hi there, this is Coach Steve Spurrier, and I want to let you know that by popular demand, Spurrier's Gridiron Grill's delicious brunch is now served in a premium buffet. You have spoken, we have listened, and we're now serving Gainesville's only elevated buffet, complete with an omelet station, ginger sage chicken sausage, shredded short rib, and of course our chicken and waffles. Plus, you can enjoy bottomless mimosas and Bloody Marys. So join us every Saturday and Sunday from 11 to 3 for the best brunch in town.
Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Ruse Ogre State Farm Office is a team of dedicated insurance professionals ready to help life go right with the right insurance options for you and your family. Visit ogreinsurance.com. Give them a call at 352-240-1779. Going to head to the Titan MR hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp, our man, Scott Carter, back from Fort Worth, Texas. Good morning, Scott. How you doing, bud?
Hey, Shane. Good morning. Yeah, man, I missed you this year. I didn't see you out there. I had barbecue as usual and saw a lot of gymnastics, but did not see you.
No, I didn't make the trip this year. Before we get started here, 31 Ember says about 50% of the players drafted in the first round develop into solid NFL starters. I get your point, Shane, but these kids produce a lot for the schools and should be compensated. I'm not arguing the compensation. I just think the money being thrown to kids that we have not seen produce is the problem. Once you're on campus and you actually do something in a damn football or basketball or baseball or softball game, then let's talk. But other than that, but I know you got to pay them to get them here. So it's totally different than the National Football League. All right, Scott. I don't want to call it a disappointment because I think this team exceeded expectations with the girls that are training for the Olympics. Wouldn't you agree with that?
Yeah, I do. I didn't expect him to be back in the national championship this year. To be honest with you, I knew without Caleb DiCello, who was so good as a freshman last year, obviously Trinity Thomas has lost. And then, just what they had coming back, they were relatively young. I figured this was a building year to get back there next year. And, so they did surprise me. I think they surprised Jenny Rowland. I was talking to her after the meet the other night, just getting her thoughts on, what the year was like. And, she said it's one of the teams that really grew up in front of her as the year progressed. I think she was pleasantly surprised to be standing there as one of the last four teams. So to get there, but at the same time, they got to the final day after Oklahoma's shocking collapse in the semifinals. And then you just felt like if they performed well, they had a great chance to steal one because, they'd beaten LSU during the regular season. They'd beaten Utah at the regional. So, anything was possible, but they just didn't have their best day on Saturday. And you know what? LSU was the best team out there. They've been performing the best. So they finally got their first one. But, yeah, I will not be surprised if Florida, with what they have coming back and building around, they could easily, I think, be a winner next year.
Andy's question on Facebook Live brought to you by Mel Law says, Scott, will Leanne Wong try out for the U.S. Olympic gymnastics team?
She's been doing elite and college all year. She's had a busy schedule, so we'll see what she can do, if she can make it or not. But that's toward her. That's on her path right now with what she's been doing. And then, of course, you've got a Trinity Thomas trying, and then the Caleb DiCello going through that process. So there could be some Gators, in the Olympics. But the competition is so tough, and it's going to be hard for any of them. But they all have that experience and that talent. So we'll see.
I don't have the roster in front of me, but how many girls did they lose off of this team?
Let's see. The main ones are, Peyton Richards, who was injured most of this year. She's definitely gone. And then Victoria Wynn, I think, has the opportunity to come back if she chooses. She had her best season. Really, other than that, I mean, they're not losing. I think Ellie Lazari has already committed to coming back because she's one that still has a COVID year. So, and then you've got DiCello coming back. You have Sky Blakely, who is also competing for the Olympics. Stone Blakely's sister coming in. So, I mean, that's why I keep saying I think they're going to be loaded next year because they're not really losing anything that's going to impact them. Whereas, last year you lost your, in my opinion, one of the two or three greatest gymnasts in school history, in Trinity Thomas. So you expected a fall off this year. So for them to get back to Fort Worth like they did under the circumstances, I got to give them a hat tip for that, Shane.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. We're speaking with Scott Carter here from Gators.com on the Titan Number Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Town. Switch gears a little bit. Basketball. I know Chris Harry pretty much covers basketball, but I know you've spoken with him. They had three big transfer portal signees. I guess we got one from Chattanooga, one from Washington State, and a kid from FAU. Do we expect to see any more, in your opinion? I don't know how many roster spots we have available, but I mean, that doesn't really mean anything these days because all they got to do is tell another kid he needs to leave. What do you think?
Yeah.
Are they still actively searching for other players?
I think with the way Ty Golden operates, I think he's always actively searching because he knows the dynamics can change instantly. And, with what they have, if everyone comes back who is expected, plus these guys, that should fill out the roster. But, things certainly could change. And one thing that Todd Golden has quickly proven, I think he knows how to work this transfer portal to his benefit. And I like what he's doing there. I like the way he's adding these veteran pieces to kind of fill in the blanks with what the younger guys and what he has on the roster. So, again, I just like what he's doing. But yeah, Shane, until this system changes, man, I think it's a week by week thing until the portal closes, obviously.
Yeah, I agree with that. But he brought in some good players last year, and I expect the same. I think these guys will be really good players for us as well. Robert says on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing, I understand we got to pay players to get them here, but we need to make contracts with incentives, give them some goals to work for to get their money they really want to earn. I'm sure there's some incentives in there. Unfortunately, Robert, you got to kind of do what every other school is doing when it comes to the NIL, or you won't get any players to come here. Scott, baseball, they get one game in Nashville. I guess you can say it's been a disappointing year. Still have a lot to play for. You got Stetson this week, midweek game. Then you go to Arkansas. I don't know if Arkansas is still the number one team in America. I haven't looked recently. Just your thoughts on the recent couple of weeks or the last couple of weeks of baseball.
Well, it's a team that, to use the expression, it kind of is what it is at this point. I think they'll probably be around that 500 point for the rest of the season because of the pitching. It's just not what we're accustomed to seeing. And also the hitting is you've got Jack Aguilera, who's just having a tremendous season, tied the NCAA record with home runs in 9 consecutive games, doing it on the mound as well as a Sunday starter. But, you've got to have more than that. The lineup from top to bottom, it's got some holes, and the pitching has been inconsistent. And it's one of those years where I'm sure you're going to see a lot of shuffling in the off season. Sully is one to quickly remold a team that isn't meeting his expectation. I think there are some really good pieces of this team. I think they're young, and it's shown up, once they got to the SEC conference schedule. I mean, you've got to be able to produce consistently on the mound and at the plate to win games because the SEC is so difficult. So they had a good start, but really since the last month, it's kind of been up and down, and it's probably going to say, well, like I said, they got Stetson, and then the trip to Arkansas. I mean, you go out there and you win one, that's probably a good weekend. Arkansas is one of the top teams in the country, so the goal now, I think, for them just to stabilize some and see if they can get hot in the SEC tournament. And, once you get into postseason in baseball, we've seen it so much, anything can happen, but you have to be playing well. I think the Gators, they're just not doing that consistently right now.
Yeah, it's been a crazy year because it's been and everybody's talked about the pitching, which I agree, but, you pitch well one night, and then you can't get a hit. So it's kind of been a combination of both. They haven't really been able to put it together. Let me ask you this, your thoughts. Sully has not been, I shouldn't say, we haven't gone like the JUCO route, so to speak. I think nowadays, especially when it comes to pitching, or if you find a pitcher, I know we had the kid from Southern Miss a couple years ago. When I'm looking at these mid-majors, the Central Connecticut's, these St. John's, these people that come to your regional, they usually have a pretty good dude that pitches day one. Do you think Sully changes his approach? Because we got so many kids, highly touted kids that come out of high school. Do you think maybe this offseason he looks at some of those small colleges at their aces and tries to entice them to come pitch for the Gators?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised at all if that's happening. Sully's shown a willingness to change over the years. And I think the transfer portal, I mean, he's used it to the benefit. You mentioned Hurston Waldrop from Southern Miss. He was so key for their run to the College World Series last year, the pitcher. So I think this year he decided to go, not so much decided, when they had the UCLA kid leave, I think that really hurt him when he signed pros. And then at that point, instead of maybe taking a gamble on one of the guys you mentioned, he said, okay, we'll stick with Liam Peterson, what we have. And it's kind of hurting. You have to have some veterans in the SEC. So I think that is one viable option for sure. And I think as this whole era continues to evolve, I think you'll see more and more of that. I still always will think you have to build a program around young talent, but you have to have an infusion of those veteran guys. Like we just talked about Todd Golden. I like these guys he's bringing in, like this year with Samuel, a guy who has 1 year left, or the guard. They had 1 year left, and they were veteran players. They fit in right away, and they led the way for the younger guys. So I think that's what you kind of need in college athletics right now, because if you're going to rely solely on younger freshmen and sophomores, you're going to be playing catch up a lot until that team gets senior laden, and then maybe you have a good year or two, but then you start over. So that's just where we are, Shane.
Yeah, Radware is a family-owned business that prides itself on excellent customer service while providing quality and affordable promotional products and customized apparel. A few more minutes with Scott Carter on the Titan MR Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp. We got a text here from George on the Titan MR text line. He says, "How was the attendance of the Gator fans at the national championship in Fort Worth?"
I thought they had a few more than usual out there. It felt a little bit like the College World Series, Shane. With LSU there, I don't know what it is. LSU travels better than any school, I think, in the SEC. So, it's irritating at times for Gator fans, but at the same time, I got to respect them, man. They love their sports, and LSU had the biggest fans there. But Florida had a strong contingent. And that's, the NCAA gymnastics, you were out there last year, so you saw where it is. You saw the arena. It's a beautiful arena. It's a good setting, and it's growing. This is my third straight year out there, and it's growing every year. They had about 8,000 in the finals. I think you'll see those finals move from Saturday afternoon eventually to Saturday night, and then that place will be packed, and it's just an event that keeps on growing. But, yeah, the Florida fans, they were out there. A lot of parents, a lot of relatives, a lot of friends. But I also met some Gator fans just from different places who came from Jacksonville, and one came from Oklahoma I met, and, they're excited just to be able to see their team, out there. So it was cool.
That arena might be the nicest arena, meaning like the crown molding. And it's unbelievable.
Yeah. No, it's unlike any other arena I've been to with all the crown molding and just the finishing.
The bathrooms are like you walk into a model home somewhere.
Yeah, no, they really they went the extra mile with what they put the finishing touches on it. Again, I don't even know how many. It's not a huge arena seat wise, probably 12 or 15,000, but it's a great venue to have that. Fort Worth has done a good job of trying to make the NCAA gymnastics the home for that. And again, gymnastics, it's the one college sport that's probably grown the most in the NIL era, because you have all these Olympians now compete, and the most famous college athlete in the country was out there this past weekend. She didn't even compete.
I know,
but she won.
That's crazy.
Olivia Dunn. It's like she had her own fan club out there, and it's amazing to see her do what she does and not really be a main contributor to their team. But, it was that way when she came to Gainesville this year. My daughter and her friend, they went with me because they really wanted to try to get the picture with Olivia Dunn. And I'm like, okay, if you guys want to, that's fine.
Yeah, it's nuts. All right, before we get you out here, softball continues to roll. They're 37-10. But I wasn't even aware who Mackenzie Wooten is. And Tim throws her in there 2 games this weekend, and she pitches well for us. That's pretty good move by Tim Walton.
Yeah, it was an excellent move. My colleague Chris Harry wrote about her today, actually, if your readers want to check it out on our website. But, yeah, she Wooten, obviously, I'm like you, Shane. I've been paying attention to other stuff, and I know the main pitchers they have with Rock and Brown, but I mean I did not expect her to come out of nowhere like that. So a big boost for the Gators.
Yeah, very good softball team. As I said, 37-10. They play Florida State, I believe, Wednesday night, and then go to Georgia. So they continue to roll 2 games out of the top spot in the SEC. Andy's question is, Ava Brown got shelled on Saturday. She tired. You bring up a good point, Andy, because Ava Brown and Rothrock, both true freshmen, they probably have not, their seasons have never had this many games in it.
Yeah.
As the freshman girls getting tired, that is a possibility. Even though they play so many games in softball in high school with their travel teams and things of that nature, but pitching week in and week out in the SEC can wear on you a little bit.
Yeah, there's no off days there. Maybe like a travel tournament. You're playing a weak team. There are really no weak teams in the SEC, so a lot of high pressure pitching going on.
Yeah, for sure. All right, Scott, you got to get any good articles coming out this week?
Getting back, I'm going to do some stuff on baseball. I think I'm going up to Charlotte one day this week with Eric Wingo, who's interested in being an announcer. So I'm going to see what he does up at the SEC Network one day. Just different kinds of stuff. But I got to get plugged back in. I got a lot of football leftover stuff, Shane, from spring. A lot of player features I want to kind of flesh out and get to know some of these guys more,
Good stuff. Well, we appreciate your time, Scott. You can follow Scott on Twitter at Gators Scott, and we'll talk to you soon, bud. Get some rest.
All right. See you, Shane.
Scott Carter from FloridaGators.com. Join us on the Tight Number Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Tim. Hope you enjoyed today's program. Don't forget, tomorrow we'll have Buddy Martin. We'll also have Steve Palazzolo talking from Pro Football Focus, talking about the upcoming draft Thursday night. So get your draft questions ready for Steve. Have a great day, folks. We'll see you then. Take care.